Yo, 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 domainers, happy Sunday. So today I thought we'd talk about the three categories of domainers. So we have a high frequency domain trader. Okay, so that's kind of what I do. And that is how much money and how many assets can I accumulate in 1 month. So at the beginning of the month, when all the kind of bills and staff are paid for and stuff, I have a pot of money and I try and spend all of it as quickly as possible to give me as much time to sell everything I bought in that month. Okay, so over the last 2 years, I've bought and sold around 60,000 domain names. So that's high frequency trading. Okay, how much can you do in 1 month? How much can you buy? How much can you sell? And at the end of the month, what are you left with? You should be left with money, which is profit, and assets that are ready to be rolled over for next month, the next few months. Okay, the second one is domain brokering. Now I don't do so much of this. A domain broker is someone who sells someone else's domain name. Two things you need to know is, if it's a domain broker, can I see the sales agreement, or can I see the agreement you have with this site, with the seller? This is especially important for high value names, similar to GWM.com. It's really important you get sales agreements, that you document things to make sure that the person trying to sell you something actually is the authorized representative. So that's domain brokers. And then there's domain investors. Okay, now a domain investor should be someone who is passive. They don't sell their domain names, they have other people sell them, and or they use platforms. So if you're a domain investor, you own the asset and it sits there until someone comes to you and buys the domain name. So the difference between the three: high frequency trader, buy and sell within 30 days. You're the owner, and how quickly can you liquidate stuff? So that comes down to distribution and network. Okay, a domain broker works on behalf of someone else. Okay, key skills are outbounding, finding potential buyers, and they should be reporting to you. If they don't have a sales agreement or a brokerage agreement to show that they can represent the asset, I'd be cautious working with them. And the second thing is, if they're not giving you a monthly report showing how much they've done, then I wouldn't work with them either. Okay, and then a domain investor, and be careful with these because everyone's a domain investor. Okay, domain investor is passive. They don't sell their own names. They'll have a landing page on Afternic or some third party, but they won't actually actively sell the names themselves. They may work with brokers, but typically they won't work with high frequency traders because they're long-term investors. So 5 to 8 years as an investor is what you can expect to sell a domain name. So I just bought on GWM.com, that would have been a 5 to 8 year investment. Gats.com, potentially we're going through a cycle, so you'll see it on DNWE. DNWE.com for a small margin on what I paid. It will then go into a brokerage type of agreement in-house, because we have our own brokers, and then it will become part of a long-term investment plan. So when we buy a domain, we put it through a cycle, but they're the key things you should look out for. So happy Sunday, hope this helps. Maybe let me know, which one are you? Are you a high frequency domain trader? Would you like to be a high frequency domain trader? Are you a domain broker? Would you like to be a domain broker? We've got a lot of assets, and if you want access to some of them, feel free to reach out. And are you a domain investor? So comment below. Be interesting to know what people think about themselves and how they fit into those categories.